But let's move into the final topic when we talk about D'Angelo Russell being traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Warriors traded Stargard. Oh, this is from Hoops Rumors. Stargard. D'Angelo Russell to the Timberwolves, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, who reports that the Golden State Warriors will receive Andrew Wiggins, a protected first-round pick in 2021, and a 2021 second-round pick in the deal. Minnesota will also acquire Omari Spellman and Jacob Evans. So, also, leaked sources tell Woj that the 2020 first-round pick headed to Golden State will be Minnesota's own top 3 protected pick. It will be unprotected in 2022 if it does not convey next year. So that's the protection, if you were wondering. So they get a top 3 protected 2020 first-round pick, and it will be theirs fully unprotected in 2022 if it does not convey. So they get Wiggins, a protected top 3 2021 first-round pick, and a 2022 second-round pick. And the T-Wolves get D'Angelo Russell, Jacob Evans, and Omari Spellman. Dave, first thoughts from this trade. I want to get into Russell before, because I know you got heat about Wiggins. What's your 2 words?
Called it.
You did call it. You did say that Wiggins would have been part of the deal. Shout out to you. Pat yourself on the back. You deserve it. Were you shocked, though, in any way that it actually got done?
No. I think it had to get done. I'm shocked by what's come out after the fact. You mentioned that, Cat seems to be holding the reins of the franchise right now and, calling it his shot, which is interesting because it's a lot of power to give a young player and someone who is as non-complete as he is. He's still missing pieces to his game. Yes, I get it. He's an offensive stud, but the fact that their team was like a top 5 defense with the same lineup, if you just swap out Cat for Goree Dieng, like they were a top 5 defense, and then you put Cat in there, they're like a bottom 5 defense. There's a lot of effort missing on that end of the court. So giving him the control of the franchise, well, interesting move. We'll see if it pays off.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Rob Vick real quick. He's in the Dominican watching us. This is hashtag best podcast ever. I wish I was in the Dominican right now.
Yeah, he was watching Fully Loaded on Tuesday.
Nice.
Very nice. But no, I think that the D'Lo move is huge for them because a couple things it does. Right off the bat, you keep Cat happy. You sign him to a long-term deal, but as we've learned, that is not a guarantee that he will be on your team for all those years. So kind of bring that tension level down. Wiggins and Cat have had enough years together to know that this tandem is not going to get you to the playoffs. You have to make a change happen, and they went absolutely nuclear here, and I loved it. It was not only the D'Lo move, but the additional move, Rocco out of town and multiple team trades. But like D'Lo brings a fucking fantastic ball handler to this team. I think perhaps was underrated for his time in Golden State. People were talking about how he's just out there playing with a bunch of G Leaguers, and I'm like, that's why it's incredible that he's doing what he's doing. Like his efficiency in Golden State is ridiculous. The fact that he has the assist numbers he has because his teammates are shooting like 25% from the fucking field. Like he's doing things that should not be possible. The offensive plan there was horrible at times, and it's just that's what it's going to be when you have guys who are as fill-in players on that team while they're so injured out there. Like, I think D'Lo is a great player, and I think that his contributions to the Timberwolves will be fantastic, and his skill set plus Cat's skill set, stuff to say.
Skill set.
It'll be great, because their pick and pop game will be disgusting. Pick and pop, pick and roll, that'll be fairly unstoppable. So I love everything about this deal for the Timberwolves. Like I think they knocked it out of the park. And value-wise, are you kidding me? They didn't have to go up the world. Like people were talking about how Andrew Wiggins' contract was one of the top 3 worst contracts in the NBA. And that's saying a lot that they only had to move on from a conditional first and then a future first. Like that's not that bad at all. 2 first-rounders to move off of Wiggins. That's a pretty good deal, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Ricky, what was your first thoughts on this? Were you surprised by the deal?
The first thing I was thinking of was shit. Dave was right, because Dave called it in the last time we talked. D'Lo, but
more credit to Dave.
Shout out.
All the credit to white bread.
Then hearing we're just gonna make a shirt. It's gonna be a piece of white bread with Dave's face on it.
And we should make it overexposed piece of white bread and on a white T-shirt, so it's just the ugliest T-shirt possible.
But and then hearing Steve Kerr's comments on it, where he kind of wasn't pulling his punches, where he's like, you could obviously see the fit was not there for D'Angelo Russell, and that a trade was going to happen.
I want to bring up real quick, when they signed it, he said, I think the fit is great. So Steve Kerr kind of talking out of his ass.
That might be one of those things you have to say publicly.
You have to say it because...
But also, like, Steve Kerr also has contradicted himself. So, like, although he said that, I don't know if it's...
Well, but also...
Fuck out of here, Steve Kerr.
No, because you also got to go into what he said. He said...
I said what I said.
Fuck out of here. You got 50 games to look at it. Before the season, you didn't... It was just on paper. Oh, this looks like a great fit. You're adding a star player to a star team. But even he said, you got like what? He said, I think like 50 games to look at. And it's like, you could tell at this point it just wasn't going to be a fit. So the trade was going to happen. I think now the bigger thing for me is how does, like, it's not a question of how does D'Lo fit with the T-Wolves. It's how does Wiggins fit with the Warriors? Because it's something where throughout his career, whether it's the little bit of time in Cleveland before he was traded, but mostly the time in Minnesota, obviously, like before Jimmy, post Jimmy, during Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Jimmy don't like that. Like, if Jimmy didn't like how Wiggins was, is Steph and Clay and Draymond, like, the memes on Twitter of like, so how many games does it take before Draymond just kicks Wiggins in the nuts? Like, they say punch in the face, I say kicking nuts.
Yeah, that's more likely from Draymond. I truly believe that Wiggins is a result of his circumstances. He was put onto a franchise that has gone through multiple coaches, multiple locker rooms, and none of them are positive. Nothing there is pushing him. He's been resting on his athleticism since he came into the league. You know, we haven't seen the consistent improvements throughout his game, his defense. He has all the potential in the world, but he's not able to engage all the time. You know, it seems like he can, if he wants to throw down, it's going to be against OKC and it's going to be great, but then, you know, it'll temper back to the mean. And I think when it comes to him being part of a world-class franchise, an organization like Golden State, it's the guys in the locker room that are going to make the difference. And this is kind of, you know, call back to last week when we were talking about Kobe and the Derek Fisher interviews. He kind of talked about how he's on a team with a guy like Kobe Bryant who is working his ass off 24/7 to be better at basketball, and he felt like shamed into matching that work ethic because he's like, if this guy's working this hard, I have to work at least as hard as him because he's already better than me. And I think that is kind of the thing that Golden State has, where the work ethic of Steph, Draymond, Klay Thompson already there. Steve Kerr as an excellent head coach. Like, you're forced to take it to a different level than you were in Minnesota, where, you know, to be fair, like, you have guys like Cat getting clowned on for playing fucking, like, video games till 2 a.m. the night before a game and clearly not putting out effort on defense. So if your best player's not putting out effort, why should I have to? Yep. And you won't see that in Golden State. And I think that'll be a wonderful change for him, and just the environment around him will be much better. So if there's ever a team and a chance for him to succeed on, it's Golden State.
Yeah, the thing that I think is the most interesting, the thing that I think Steve Kerr said, and I think you brought it up, was that we're not looking for him to be a star on this team, right? And we're going to put him in a position where he can. We already have stars. We don't need him to be a star. Yeah. And I think that's the most intriguing part about this, is because it is weird that I don't really love the D'Lo fit in Minnesota, but I do like the Wiggins fit, and I think that it's mainly because right now he can get acquainted to being coached by Steve Kerr, and he's going to get the ball a ton, and he's going to be at least, you know, being comfortable around some of the guys. He'll be able to, you know, work with Draymond a ton here, and then come late February, early March, he'll then get his first shot to play with Steph, and it won't be with Steph and Clay. It will be with, you know, just Steph and Draymond. I do like the fact that he is going to be slowly worked into the Golden State Warrior culture. And I do like that he's going to not be a drastic change of, all right, now you're on a playoff team. You have to win right now, motherfucker. You have to be great. No, you're going to be worked into a team that sucks right now. We just traded Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson, guys that were just scoring for us. We need a scorer. You're good at that. So learn how to score here. Just score. Play with it. You know, play fast, fun, free, whatever. Play how you want, and then when Steph comes, we'll get a little bit more serious. We'll work you back up, and then come the offseason, he'll be able to work with Steph. He'll be able to work with Clay. He'll be able to work with Draymond. And then you get a full offseason, and then you get Andrew Wiggins with Wiggins, Clay, Steph, and Draymond in his true role as probably the third option on that team. There is, the interesting idea of, well, what if they trade the T-Wolves pick and Wiggins for, X to get a better start?
Yeah.
Possible.
If he doesn't get along with Steph and Dre during the next 2 months, you have your sample size again. Like it's Golden State being smart about this because they didn't have to move on from, when when
D'Lo?
Nope.
Steph.
Before that.
Clay.
No. KD. When KD was like, I'm not re-signing here. Like, they did the smart thing, and they didn't let him walk for free. Let's make a deal. And they knew the Minnesota Timberwolves wanted to bring in D'Lo. So it was like okay, we can get something out of this. Let's find a way to make this work. And they got D'Lo over to the Warriors, tested the waters, let him play. He's good, but he's not a fit for their future as a core. So they got to flip him for a wing. And now they can do the same thing here. And if Wiggins doesn't fit, you can go draft time. And I know our comment section has it.
I want to throw that out. Rob Vick, he said that they're going to be flip Wiggins plus a top 3 pick this year to flip for a top player, maybe for Embiid or Simmons. Thoughts?
Oh. No.
Embiid would be like, I'm not saying the Sixers are going to be shopping Embiid, but if, let's say in the storyline would have to fit. Like if the Sixers get bounced in the first round of the Miami Heat by Jimmy Butler, and then you got Shaq on TNT calling Embiid soft and going hard at Embiid, that storyline's going to fit. Then if we're thinking Wiggins doesn't fit with the Warriors and that they're going to trade him during the offseason, that could be the Embiid one is, to me, the more likely one of like, if you came to the table after a first-round exit from the 76ers with the image of Embiid that might happen because of that, that would make it more of a realistic in my mind of like, okay, we can get Wiggins and a top 3 pick. That would probably be a Wiseman, especially if it's a number 1 overall.
Could be interesting.
And they could just basically say, well, we're replacing Embiid with Wiseman. We get Wiggins, and we got to move on. Because eventually the Embiid-Simmons, if they keep running into the playoffs and losing, eventually one's got to go. Like, we're not going to talk about that until it happens, but eventually that's where it's going to head if they don't get to a championship.
Yeah, I think with the Ben Simmons and Embiid thing, I don't think they're going to look to move them anytime soon. They both signed extensions recently. I don't think that's going to be a thing. Maybe they do look to package Wiggins if he doesn't fit, but I think they're going to at least give him a run with Steph, Clay, and Draymond by the way that they did speak. And again, I just said you can't trust Steve Kerr, so I don't know if I can trust him here. But if it is the idea to him not be a star playing off of Clay, playing off of Steph, then that means that they're at least going to give him a run with Clay. The
Harrison Barnes role.
Yeah, so and
as it were.
And we did see Harrison Barnes. I mean, he could be a more athletic, worse defender, worse shooting Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I mean, that's
he'd be great cutting.
Yeah, and that's where his money's at. Like Wiggins' spacing will be fixed by playing for the Warriors next year, in theory. So I would like to see him play through next year with them, but I do think there's a real possibility that draft time comes around and there will be opportunities to move him. Whether they will or won't is up to them.
And Rob Vick even threw out Minnesota's first, Warriors first, plus Wiggins, hard deal to turn down.
Yeah,
for Embiid. So, that would be this year's first. That would be next year's first, unless the T-Wolves are top 3, because obviously it's top 3 protected.
What do the Sixers gain out of that?
The Sixers gain, well, it really depends in my situation where the Warriors first is. If the Warriors first is second or first, it becomes interesting, because if the lottery, I'll do 1 on Tankathon just to see where it falls. Yeah, so, Warriors are 1. If I'm the 76ers, I'll take that because I can get James Wiseman for sure to kind of replace.
But Wiseman will, and I mean this in the nicest way, and I don't mean to cut you off, but Wiseman will never be the level of Embiid.
No, I'm not saying that though.
I know,
I'm just saying they can get a player that they feel like, okay, he can grow into something of value that's not trash.
I know,
and of course, Ricky, I know busts and everything.
What I'm saying to you there though is, them getting Wiseman and Wiggins does not equal Embiid. So therefore, even if they hit number 1 overall and they get their guy, I don't think they can match what Embiid gives to them. So therefore, I think it's a bad deal.
Well, I'll say this then on top of it too, okay, Wiseman can't be the same player that Embiid is. He can be a healthier player. He can be on the court more, potentially.
Yeah.
Like
that's
the
heard
big
Jake
thing
say it.
with
Like he
Embiid.
looks like he's 55 out there every couple games because his body is just not able to take the grind.
And Embiid on the Warriors, I'm sorry, that might be a great fit because the Warriors can just say, hey, sit the Andre Iguodala treatment of sit till the trade deadline. We don't need to. You know what I mean?
Don't
maybe
I went shit.
Maybe I went way too far, but like
play games, no back-to-backs.
Yeah, exactly.
Russell Westbrook's not playing back-to-backs this year because he had knee surgery during the offseason.
They could take it easy with him is what I'm saying, so that he really gets most of his work in the playoffs.
Shit.
Well, I mean...
No, I just like that. I like that quote from Dave.
Well, but you get where I'm going with it, where it's like they can... I don't want to like say the exact thing like with Kawhi Leonard, but I would not be... If it's like, hey, we're going to take a couple times. Like, oh, you feel like that's nagging you? All right, we're going to take the time because we only need you in the playoffs. Like, that's to me where it could be a good fit.
Yeah.
And the 76ers will have to decide, like I said, who they're going to move forward with. And like the one I just did, Knicks, Suns, and Warriors are your top three. Knicks aren't going to take Wiseman. I don't think the Suns would take Wiseman. I would say the top three there would be LaMelo at 1 to the Knicks, Anthony Edwards possibly to the Suns, and then at number 3, the Sixers would be able to get Wiseman, so they're getting a center that's a top 3 pick.
I don't know. It's tough, and it's tough to predict breaking up a tandem that the 76ers have been all in on since the process started. So I don't know about that. It's possible, I guess, though, and that's one of the things. As far as this trade, though, like, can we just say the Warriors have done an amazing job over the last 5-6 years of building this group up and maintaining the core together, knowing what they need to win. This year has obviously been an off year, but like it felt almost intentional as like we need a break. There's some injuries. Maybe take some extra time off from that injury to make sure that you're 100% healthy. So next year we can come back and be competing at the top of the West again. And they've always made the moves to keep themselves in in striking distance for a championship or at the top of the championship ladder. So like, I can't give enough credit to the Warriors for that. And I'm jealous of the front office and their head coach. But like, I want to give credit to the Timberwolves too. They hit that wall and they're like, we've got to do something. And that's why I want to jump back to them real quick because I think that the D'Lo move set up, like the Rocco move, the D'Lo move together, really reset the floor for this team. And I don't know if they're going to be a good team next year or for the rest of this year.
The Timberwolves will be a bad team?
Yikes, that tweet was amazing. But they're going to be fun to watch again, which beats the shit out of being sad and stuck in the basement together,
Yeah, it could be worse. They could be in Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about what?
I think both teams fucking suck.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but
I would rather
upside.
watch a T-Wolf game right now than a Bulls game.
With D'Lo
I
and
would
Cat
rather
together,
watch.
hell yeah.
I would rather watch a T-Wolves game because of Naz Reid. But again, you're
who
talking
could
about
forget about Naz
You're talking about
Reid?
the president of the Naz Reid fan club.
Yeah.
I think I'm just glad that they realize that guys bums. Let me make this as clear as possible. Bums like Noah Vonleh and Keita Bates-Diop were taking time away from Naz Reid. That's why this deal was made. Not for D'Angelo Russell, not to get Andrew Wiggins' money off the books.
Also,
it was to give more time to Naz Reid.
T-Wolves
Let's be honest here.
only 10 games back of the 8th seed.
Yeah,
And they make a run.
And now they're going to have Naz Reid. They're going to win 10 games
Not the
straight.
name I
Malik
lead
Beasley.
with.
Do you like the addition?
Naz Reid. No, I do like Malik Beasley. I think that it's like they made smart moves in the way that Malik Beasley cannot hurt you.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't give up much, and he's a guy that could be a starting guard in this league.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a 1-year deal. You're going to have a little bit of money because you did move the Gorgie Dang contract, which shout out, good move. And you end up picking up James Johnson from the Heat. I don't know when his contract's up, but I think he had a 2-year deal.
We can check that real quick.
But I think that if they're able to, and I think they have his bird rights, so that no matter what, I think they'll still be able to re-sign Malik Beasley.
Yeah, if he shoots well this year, like he's worth it. It's just he's been a below average shooter. Like he can score. It's just a matter of like, can he score efficiently? Your favorite word.
Well, and that's the thing too is like
Johnson next year, player out for $15 million.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to
$16 million.
Going to absolutely accept that. He's 100% going to accept that.
Yeah, he's 33. Will be 33.
If Beasley's able to become better, like the question is, how much will they actually get their teammates involved, being Cat and D'Lo?
Yeah.
Will this just be the
Or
Cat
just
and D'Lo
two-man.
show on offense, or will it be, hey, we're gonna have Malik Beasley on the outside, we're gonna have Culver on the outside, we're gonna have Naz Reid on the outside, we're gonna have Juancho on the outside?
Is Cat D'Lo like the knockoff brand of Luka and KP?
No, because
they're different. I know, because Cat and D'Lo are offensively amazing.
Well, Cat's so much better than KP offensively.
Yes.
And I mean, KP could dominate a little bit, but
as of late, KP's been turning up.
So far, him and Luka don't have that connection.
Almost got my wet boy.
But
the coaching is the difference.
Because the gap, the coaching is the difference, but also the gap between Luka and D'Lo is
massive.
Massive.
Yeah, there's a ravine in between them.
So,
but that
it's
guard big combo play style. I wonder.
That's the thing is I don't think it will be that because it is a guard big combo that the guard is so dynamic in getting every single piece involved.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is I think D'Lo is going to be blinded either by scoring or I got to feed my buddy.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I end up disliking the move is that even if this pair doesn't work, they're not going to pivot like they did with Wiggins. They're not going to pivot like they had to do with to get Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. They're not going to pivot
that's their two guys for the next X years.
That's I mean, and until Cat leaves or Cat wants to leave or Cat tells you it's okay to move D'Lo, that's your pair. Or unless D'Lo leaves, weirdly.
Which I wouldn't. Yeah, it's unlikely. But that's more likely to happen than anything else. I'll give you that.
I think this is a move that can put them underwater, mainly because I think the players on the court think they have too much power, and that might put them underwater. I am worried about this fit together, and I think it'll be too much buddy-buddy because I think that the moves the T-Wolves front office haven't been bad. And that I want to clarify. I don't think the T-Wolves made bad decisions. I think they just gave too much power to Cat and D'Lo. Where the Warriors, they're taking the power away from Wiggins. They're literally saying you're not going to be a star.
Yeah.
And they got a top 5 pick possibly. So they might have their pick and the T-Wolves pick if it falls out. That's in 2021, not this year.
Yeah.
But I think that this is a team that the Warriors are like, we can make a play with these 2 picks to get a big star over, possibly throw Wiggins in there. They're taking the power away. Obviously, they gave all the power to Steph, but Steph's a different player than Cat is.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a guy that can actually lead a team to a finals, and he's proven it. He deserves a massive contract and all the power in the world.
Yep.
Where Cat, he hasn't proven enough. I think that in the end, I don't think this duo is going to work out. That's just me. Final thoughts?
The last thought that I had is on the D'Lo side, where kind of like where I said Capella I feel good with in the Hawks trade, I feel happy for D'Lo with this move because there was a video of him getting off the plane in Minnesota and coming through. No, I'm sorry. I liked it.
No,
it's like,
fuck that.
And the reason why I liked it is, I mean, the people in Minnesota, just by showing him, hey, we're happy you're here. Like, think about his journey. He gets drafted by the Lakers. He plays for the Lakers. Then gets traded by the Lakers. Like, feels like was never really loved in L.A. During his time in L.A., wasn't really...
Ratted out Nick Young for cheating in his UCLA.
Ratted out Nick Young for cheating on Nick Young. But he was never really like a beloved player with that Laker team. Then in Brooklyn... Like, he balled out in Brooklyn, but when they got him, I don't remember Brooklyn fans being like, oh, man, I'm so glad we got D'Angelo Russell. It was kind of like we got Timothy Mozgov and D'Angelo Russell. We'll see how it goes. Like, that's what I'm thinking. It wasn't this level.
They knew what they got after the first injury to Karis LeVert because D'Angelo Russell was good.
No, but I'm saying like when he was traded,
the initial
reaction I don't think was super positive.
I think it was,
but it wasn't like super negative. It was just kind of
super positive because they.
I can't remember. That's what I'm asking.
It was
the Nets fan reaction
when they traded Brooke for D'Lo.
Yeah, that was positive.
Yeah, they got a top point guard.
They got
from
top
the draft.
point guard, and then they got a top point guard, and they got Brooke, who didn't want to be there anymore. And they took on Mozgov's contract, but I think they were fine with it.
Okay, then that plays into what I'm doing because like with the Warriors, really, it's like okay, well, the Warriors didn't have any reason to be like, yeah, we got D'Lo. It's like okay, we got D'Lo. We'll see how he fits.
Yeah,
and we already saw then in the Nets, beloved by a fan base, excited to see him. He balled out with that team.
Yeah.
Maybe the same thing happens here. The mindset with D'Lo is like, hey, people actually want me here. It's a change of just his entire, just how he's thinking. And maybe he can play better now in Minnesota. Now that he maybe feels like, hey, I'm wanted here. Like, I am their guy. I am a Minnesota Timberwolf.
Yep.
I don't know. I liked it.
I see your point, but I don't think he was disliked in Brooklyn, and I think
that's the thing to help it.
Yeah.
Like, we already saw when he was beloved by a fan base, he played well.
I think he, and I don't mean to be rude here, but I think he's got an extremely inflated ego for the player that he is.
Okay.
And I think that he
some players do.
Is super excited to be with his boy Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't understand the camcorder shit, and I sound like a fucking old man, but like I don't understand the camcorder shit. Like, camcorders suck. Mm-hmm. The quality of it is so fucking shitty. Like, where are you putting that shit, D'Lo? You gonna pop in a VHS to watch your rival to Minnesota? What the fuck you doing? Like, what the fuck is the camcorder thing? He's got those little sunglasses on. Like, dude, it's nighttime. Take the fucking sunglasses off. Like, I don't know. I find it. I got weird vibes from that thing. Gerson Rosas, the owner of the T-Wolves, loves D'Angelo Russell, and he got baited into this by Bob Myers. I think they're a fool for making this deal. But that's just me.
They got a great shooting point guard who can move the ball, and he's his best friend. Yeah. But
I don't think that. I think that's
38% on like 9 attempts a game.
But I think that's it.
I think 6 assists a game.
You're gonna have a great offense. You're gonna have a great two-man offense.
Yeah.
But that's it. I don't think you have any semblance of a team. You have
time.
You have 2 versus 5.
You got time.
I think the players are there to build a team. I don't think that. I got
your boy Josh Okogie.
I love Beasley. I love Malik Beasley. I love Josh Okogie. I love Naz Reid. I love Juancho.
Yep.
I love Jarrett Culver.
Yeah.
I don't think those guys are going to be integrated in the team because I think the Cat and D'Lo are going to push them out.
It'll be a split locker room?
It's 2 versus 5. That's what it's going to be every single time on offense.
Okay.
I don't think the other players are going to get involved. If I'm wrong and they get everybody else involved,
pleasant surprise.
Great. That's what I think. And you got 2 pieces then of your big 3.
Yeah.
You have 2 of the 3. But can they get the third involved?
We could just say it's Devin Booker.
I'm not saying just Devin Booker. Because I'm just saying any 3.
Okay.
If they can get a third piece involved, would they actually get him involved into the actual play, or would it just be a guy that, like, Clint Capella, he was the third of that Rockets team, but he wasn't a guy that was truly integrated into that offense. He was just, hey, you're going to set picks, or it's just going to be, he was out there. He was out there
untouchable.
He was out there for defense and blocks.
Yeah,
and to set picks. Like, he wasn't.
He was a roll man. He was the roll man in the league.
But also with the roll man part, like, there is no roll man if there is no James Harden wanting you to set a pick. Yeah. Because James Harden could just be like, fuck off, I'm going ISO.
But it's undeniable, you're right. Like, Chris Paul, James Harden, and Clint Capella, like, the weakest link of that was Clint by far. Yeah, but they did go, like, an insane win. Like, their win-loss ratio was just dumb.
But with that, it's because they were getting everybody else involved.
Yes.
And that's my concern with that, is that I don't think that, like, even if the wide open looks are there, I don't know how much they will explore that. And I think that's going to be on Ryan Saunders to make that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just me. Final thoughts coming from the chat. We got the Embiid Simmons story is going to be a bad train wreck from Rob Vick. Devin Booker may try to make his way to Minnesota from J-Dub. Definitely possible. Rob Vick, Bradley Beal for Wiggins, Looney, 2 first, Minnesota and Golden State's 2 second-round picks. I think contracts work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would.
So,
interesting.
I mean, I'm not going to say no to Bradley Beal, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson.
Right.
It's disgusting.
It's
but
would
the Wizards
do
want
that?
That's where it is.
With John Wall, I guess it depends on what John Wall looks like.
Minnesota is a small
when it comes back.
Not just that, it depends on where that Warrior pick is.
Sure.
Because, like I said, if that Warrior pick is outside the top 3, it's less sexy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If it's 1 or 2, it's a sexy pick.
And 2 final ones coming in from J-Dub. Minnesota is a small market team that made their disgruntled franchise player happy with a win for the Wolves. Fair look, but I don't know at what cost that happiness for Cat was given up for, and that's my worry there. But it's not, if it works out, they made the smart move, and I can't blame them for that. Wizards will never trade Beal. They know if they will never trade Beal. They know if they will never so they'll never be able to sign a big free agent if they trade Beal, which is fine. But if Beal requests it, then it could be different. Obviously, he wasn't happy very recently, so that could be something that we could look into. But that's going to do it for the Fast Break Podcast. We got to thank Jake for joining us earlier to talk about the guys that are popping out to us, or the teams that are popping out to us in the Eastern Conference. We also talked about the D'Angelo Russell trade. We talked about the Clint Capella trade. And Rick Lee finally picked a good wet boy. So we want to thank Jake. We want to thank everybody in the chat. Rob Vick, King E, our boy Kyle Craig, John, and then Sam as well. Thank you guys so much for checking out twitch.tv/Minnesota Podcast. Everyone who is a Patreon as well, we want to thank you. If you guys want to flash a screen, just to thank patrons again. Everyone on that list is massively important, no matter where you are, and what tier you are. Yep. And Tim, who hasn't been added yet, but will be added. All of you are massively important, no matter what tier you are. All the support is very appreciated. Again, check out patreon.com/Minnesota Podcast if you do want to help support us.
I love Rob Vick. I'm going to be a Patreon eventually, so I can come on the show if possible. Love you guys. #GOATed.
#GOATed.
We're goating them into the Patriots.
We appreciate it. And after this, stay tuned because we will have the Primetime Podcast with a full mock draft.
First round.
3 hours of coverage.
2.0. No 3 hours of coverage.
It's going to be insane.
We're going to do 2 hours.
Just
we'll
be good. 2.5.
Oh, God.
All right.
Well, let's get into it as soon as possible.
Hours.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week.